A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. As usual, we've got you covered with the latest updates from across the country. My name is Harriet Chime and our sign language interpreter is Walter Asere. Let's begin with the highlights. President William Ruto reiterates support for the judiciary as he presides over the swearing-in of 20 new judges of the High Court. Ray of hope for over 15,000 people displaced during the 2007-2008 post-election violence following the confirmation of their compensation almost 2 decades later.
Mkondo wa serikali ni kitu naenda pole pole. Vile naenda pole pole. Msiwe na haraka kusema pengine imetria mafanya nini. Pole pole, pole tufanye nini tufike kwa wakati unaofaa.
The power of emerging education technology in increasing digital literacy and improve learning outcomes. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for joining us once again. President William Ruto today presided over the swearing-in of 20 new High Court judges. Speaking during the swearing-in ceremony, the president emphasized the critical role played by institutions of governance, especially a strong and effective judiciary in the realization of Kenya's bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
The Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice and Vice
Tieno, Judge of the High Court, do swear in the name of the Almighty God.
It is my privilege to be the first to congratulate all of you on your well-deserved elevation to the esteemed position of Judge of the Republic of Kenya and the most important place of our advocate as senior counsels in the Republic of Kenya. As you step into national service to advance the interests and well-being of our people, it is essential that I emphasize the immense responsibilities bestowed upon you and the magnitude of public expectation for you to contribute positively to freedom, democracy, social justice, and progress in our nation. I am confident that you are highly accomplished advocates with excellent grasp of the law and especially our Constitution. I therefore call to your attention certain important provisions of our fundamental law, not to educate or remind you, but to underscore the magnitude of the judicial mandate in fulfilling the collective aspirations of our people and our broader development agenda. While the constitutional separation of powers delineates functional boundaries between arms of government, it is crucial to understand that ultimately we all are servants of the people entrusted with public responsibility for their benefit.
the Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice and Vice
Tieno, Judge of the High Court.
In marking 44 days of a nationwide strike, clinicians have taken to the streets of Nairobi in peaceful demonstrations to call for finalization of negotiations and implementation of a collective bargaining agreement. The clinicians' strike has disrupted a number of services, particularly in primary-level health facilities. The medics maintain their stand that no services shall be rendered until the demands are implemented. Let's listen in.
In court should be agreed upon. We are having a meeting today. Some of our officials are engaging the Council of Governors over the issue of CBA. And then there is also the issue of the enhanced risk allowance. We have sung this as a song every day, every day. We are on the streets jumping, making noise, but the enhanced risk allowance is something that can really take back the clinical officers back to work. If it is agreed by the Council of Governors, because that letter that was signed by the Cabinet Secretary 3 years ago is still binding up to now. So that is something that we are still fighting for, and we believe we will have it. Then the other thing is the payment of interns as per the Public Service Commission guideline. And that is something that the interns who are being paid 100,000, 105,000 for degree, reduced to 50,000, almost half. And that is something that we are really protesting. And we are saying that we will not go back to work until that issue is addressed. The other thing that we are talking about is the promotion and resignation, and also the universal health coverage staff should be put on permanent and pensionable. There are attempts by the Council of Governors and some entities to extend the contract of these staffs, but that one is something that we are really against, and it is against the labor laws and also the human resource. You cannot put someone on a contract for almost close to 6 to 7 years, and you are also putting this person on a contract which is not concurrent with the SRC guideline, where a clinical officer should be paid as per the SRC guideline and job group. You give them a paltry 28,000 that cannot even help them survive. Then the other issue is the comprehensive insurance, which will also be addressed by the chair, the vice chair here. And then the other thing is the issue of under the CBA. If I just want to say that last week the High Court sitting in Nairobi, that is the Employment and Labor Relations Court, okayed our strike, meaning we are on a protected strike. That is why you are seeing us here very confident. Those show cause letters, disciplinary action, intimidation were null and voided by the court sitting in Nairobi. So we are on a protected strike, and we want to tell the government that we will not go back to work until our issues are addressed. So we are saying that only one issue, we can only state that out of the 10 issues, only one issue somehow is being addressed. We haven't seen, but we've just heard that our career progression guideline or the scheme of service has already been signed by the Public Service Commission. That is why we've not gone to the Public Service Commission. We are coming here to the SRC to make noise. We went to the MOH to make noise. We are going to the Council of Governors to make noise. Because those are the places where our issues are stuck. MOH wrote a letter to SRC here. Lynn Mengich is up here. But then we don't know what the action that Lynn Mengich took, because that is something that they justified themselves why we are supposed to be paid that money. So we are...
I'll be sure to get details of that update on the clinicians' strike that has stretched into the 44th day. Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has proposed legislation allowing Parliament to meet budget deficits through money they recover as proceeds of crime. According to the EACC Chair David Ongide, this will resolve one of their main challenges in the execution of the Commission's mandate and the fight against corruption. Ongide spoke during the launch of the EACC 2022-2023 annual report. Well, apologies for that. We will get that update either right now or later on in our subsequent bulletins. Now, internally displaced persons from Nyanza and Western region who were displaced during the 2007-2008 post-election violence can now breathe a sigh of relief following the confirmation of their compensation. The more than 15,000 IDPs have been living in dire conditions, struggling to rebuild their lives for more than a decade after the clashes occurred. Lamek Agutu with the details.
Of the 2007-2008 post-election violence still linger in the minds of many in Nyanza and Western regions, there is finally a glimmer of hope among the IDPs that were displaced by the clashes. Their long-awaited compensation could possibly be on the horizon after a decade of waiting. The more than 15,000 IDPs who have now formed a common front in the pursuit of their compensation express gratitude to the National Assembly for heeding to their plea.
Tukapitishwa kulipwa na hiyo program sasa hivi vile tunaongea tumejua mahali imefika, iko tu karibu na sisi hivi karibuni watu wetu watapata kufurahia hiyo program vile serikali imetupangia.
Through their coordinator James Oro, the IDPs from Kisii region expressed optimism that the compensation exercise will take effect soon. They further castigated sham leaders with ill intent to embezzle their benefits.
Serikali yetu tukufu imejaribu kutusaidia mpaka wakati huu ambaye mambo yetu yameanza kuonekana ya kwamba malipo yetu yataonekana hivi karibuni.
They further urged their members to stay calm until the compensation exercise was actualized and done.
Wawe watulivu kabisa mpaka maneno itoke kwa serikali ya kwamba siku fulani ndio malipo.
Naomba tena wale wengine ambao waliathirika, mkondo wa serikali ni kitu naenda pole pole. Vile naenda pole pole, msiwe na haraka kusema pengine imetia mafanya nini. Pole pole, pole tufanye nini, tufike kwa wakati unaofaa.
Lameka Gutu for K24 TV.
Well, that story takes us to a short break. More stories to come. Stay with us.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear